Marhaba, I'm Eden. Last month at ClearWorld, we rolled out the Market Difficulty Report, part of our Common Intelligence initiative, through which we try to raise the collective power of everyone working on tech innovation, tech investment, or tech policy making in the MENA region by giving them the visibility and improving the insight they receive for their decision-making process so that they make better decisions and avoid repeating past mistakes as much as possible. The report became our second most popular to date, so thank you very much for the warm welcome. This video is to tell you what to do if you find out that you are stuck in one of the most difficult sectors. Usually, whenever people try to gauge what is the difficulty level of a specific sector, for example, fintech compared to crypto, compared to manufacturing and so on, they look at how much money was raised in that sector and they use it as an indicator. We notice that this is not accurate and doesn't lead to good decisions. The better way to try to assess the difficulty or easiness of the market is to look at two sides of the equation, demand and supply. So demand, we can easily use the proxy of how many or what is the percentage of investors who invest in that sector. The reason behind that is investors usually try to find or invest in markets they have visibility on or they have past knowledge that they have worked in the past. There is demand for startups in MENA for it. The second part of the equation or the formula or the puzzle is to look at the supply side. What is happening on the startup side? For that, we look at the level of competition between them. How many of those startups outlive each other? How many die? What is the percentage of that out of the total? We limit the data, the coverage, to the past 5 to 6 years in order to have some recency in the data and relevancy in the insight. Combining them together, using geometric and linear algebra, we created this, the market difficulty map. It shows you which sectors are more difficult and which are easier, and then how to compare one sector with the rest. Is one sector 2 times as difficult or 3 times as difficult or something like that? We have all the data for every sector in a dedicated section in the report, but for today's requirement, we only look at how to use this map to navigate a difficult situation. Let's say now, you are in one of those extremely difficult sectors. Let's say that you are in lifestyle. Lifestyle sector has a lot of companies who are trying to crack it for over 10 years now. Nevertheless, we don't hear of any success stories happening there. Compared to e-commerce, for example, it's much more difficult, has much less demand. So if you used to work at an e-commerce startup and then you started out your own lifestyle startup, and you notice that it's extremely difficult to generate demand there or try to sell to investors there, that's the reason. You picked up a difficult sector. Startup doesn't mean technology or tech altogether. Startup is only small companies who try to innovate or try to introduce tech to businesses or established clients or customers if you are B2C. Sometimes the market you want to crack doesn't want small companies to work with, and they prefer well-established companies, or they prefer to develop something in-house. That's the main reason why startups are facing difficulty in our region. You are in the music industry. You're building your startup for 10 years. Every day you compare yourself to your fellow colleague working at a fintech company. How life is easy for that gentleman. How life is difficult on you. How you can barely make payroll from month to month. How it's difficult for you to convince an investor or a VC because they can't find your growth satisfying. What to do if you are stuck in such sector? If low demand is your problem, you'll find it extremely difficult to find clients, convince customers, or get investors bought in. Then use the map to move into a sector that is to the right side of where your sector is. For music, anything, any other sector other than military is better when it comes to demand. If you are in travel and tourism and you're finding it exceedingly difficult to generate demand, then move to media, move to commerce, move to food industry. Those would have better demand dynamic for you compared to where you are today. When your competition is too much, you can't capture market because other companies, other startups are capturing it faster than you, or they are already extremely powerful. Startups or scale-ups or companies taking the market. There's some sort of monopoly going on there. And you can't survive. Then move to the south of where you are today. If you are in sales and marketing, move to hardware, move to health. You'll be surprised that it's much less fierce competition compared to sales and marketing, or compared to travel and tourism. When you want something easier in general, you want better competition, so less competitiveness, and more demand, then go to the lower right side of the map. Get as close to the market balance line, which indicates the equilibrium where supply equals demand, and you'll find life much livelier. If you are a talent, you are an individual, or you don't want to continue being a founder anymore, you want to use your skill set in a place where it is most coveted. For example, you are a master at market competition. You know how to outcompete others in the market. If this is your skill set, then it is in high demand in heavy competition sectors north to the map. Any sector that is colored red has high competition. If you are a master at demand creation and demand generation, you know how to do CRO, you know how to maximize your ROI, you have this skill set, it's going to be much needed in low demand sectors. So that's everything closer to the left side on the map. But it will be more challenging to move north or left. Companies, usually, if they are to the left side on the map, they are struggling. And if they are struggling, there is a chance they might not be able to satisfy your compensation. Now, what if you only want a slight change? You want to change the industry, or you want to increase the scope or the coverage of your job hunting if you're doing that as a talent. But you don't want to face different challenges. You want to face something familiar. Look for clusters on the map. Sectors that are close to each other tend to exhibit the exact same or very similar challenges when it comes to demand creation, demand generation, competition in the market, or even fundraising expectations. Before I go, people they believe that by inspiring you and insisting that you push forward despite all challenges that you're facing, it's them doing you a favor. People think that inspiration is the bread and butter of entrepreneurship, and from the entrepreneur's side, they need to be persevering, resourceful, clever, able to manage despite the most difficult of situations. Science says no. Science says if you hit a dead end, stop bashing your head against the wall. That is stupid. Did you know that we have over 130 exits in the region? Do you know why we don't have 130 success stories? Why we don't have 130 founders speaking on the media? We're covering them every day. 100, 50, 30? The reason is most of those exits are acqui-hires or assets in stress. They're sad stories of founders who faced difficulty and failed to see the signal, failed to see the writing on the wall until they ran out of money. By that time, it's too late. They've already gone all in because the investors told them, quit your jobs if you want our money. And they did. This needs to stop. If there is insight out there and we made it available for you for free, without paywall, without even requesting your information. Then take it, use it, make use of it. There is no nobility, there is no virtue in slow death. There is no virtue in letting yourself and the people who believed in you and joined your company decay gradually until it's too late. There is no reason for that, and with our work today, I hope this makes you able to make better decisions, and it makes less and less sad stories come into our ecosystem. Thank you again for all your welcoming, and we at Clear World will continue to be your strongest ally.